Welcome to my Berlin photo essay. Basically, I decided to throw together a bunch of photos I took in Berlin in 2020 and 2021. I don't know if I want to lower your expectations in the sense that I didn't go and see a lot of things. I'd been to Berlin before, but it was more a capture of my experiences and movement in the area I was in and the things I did, and just some visuals that I'm going to talk you through and just share. So I hope you enjoy it, but it's not necessarily the touristy version of Berlin. It's experiences from when I moved there. These first few photos just kind of capture the view from outside of my window. It was really snowy. It was really kind of winter bleak. The trees are kind of covered in snow, the ground, and it was very much winter feel. You can see that it just feels like, I don't know, Siberia. It's not Siberia, I promise. I captured this photo mainly because I really love clouds. So I have way too many photographs everywhere of clouds, and I think they're quite beautiful. And this is the street I ended up living on the other side of. So if you pause and take a quick look, this photo is the bridge that I could have crossed just beside me if it wasn't under construction for repair the whole time I was there. And if you walk to the end of that street, you can see where the supermarket was, and I was literally on the other side of that. So when I moved from the hotel to the apartment, I walked, basically. It's a super different view when things lightened up and things started to, you had a sunny day, even though it had snowed, everything was starting to sort of melt. I really quite like the contrast where you get the kind of blue sky, a little bit of cloud, and yet if you look on the ground, there's still snow. This view is kind of a bit off to the right of that room that I was staying in the main hotel, but it's still beautiful. And yet we're back to this could be anywhere in Europe, Eastern or Western, during winter. This is again, my beautiful capture of the clouds that I love, but it's also that street again that would become the place I'd go to a supermarket, but also the opposite direction I'd miss when I left the hotel. This is me gearing up, I'm guessing, even for a short trip to the supermarket, because I found the whole time quite cold. Not a joke, my surname, but I was quite proud actually, because it just felt like the first address I had my name on the outside, and they have it on the outside of the door. So that was the apartment. Very Eastern block, this hallway, very much like an asylum. I felt it had that feel. And then of course you come to the front door, of which I had attempted to make very welcoming with a mat. This is the bedroom when I managed to get some curtains up and the bed had arrived. So I spent some time there and I said goodbye to it when I left. Again, here I am. More photos than I normally share of myself, but anyway, this is me in my kind of office chair. So this is the work from home setup during 2021 in the apartment. The view, I was in love with this view. So from that seat you just saw, that was the view I'd see. So from the seat you just experienced, that's the view I had. The trees, the colors, they changed. There were red squirrels. It was something I loved. But then we move on to something I didn't love, which would be the blue floor. I don't have words. Ugh. Now we jump into a range of photos from my local area. Yes, my local area, Museum Island. I just thought this was well framed. I liked the setting. My fascination with clouds and trees. I think this is the Spree River, but this is where it sits kind of near one of the main museums. This was like 30 seconds from my apartment. Sorry, it's out of focus, but clouds, 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 clouds. Can never have enough. Clouds, clouds. So from where I lived, the Berlin TV tower, or Berlin Spire, was quite prominent. This is the first photo it appears in. Clouds and a little bit of sun peeking through. And to my other obsession, water. It's kind of beautiful, this part of the Spree River. Surprise, surprise, the TV tower. Michelle sees old building she likes. Old building becomes prominent in photo. I remember a day where I kind of got lost down some back streets, and this was what I found. I'm guessing this was just before Christmas. think we're coming out of that winter, but still a bit bleak. If you look closely, this is actually the front of the hotel. It did have some construction at the time, but just past the stop sign is the front of it. So Berlin has some magical architecture. Voila. Da-da. On one of the rare occasions, I was out as the sun went down. And the lights came on. And the clouds faded as night became upon us. Quick backstory: top of the building I worked in Alexanderplatz, and 2 colleagues. So the photos that follow are all from the roof, and I basically did my best to get a series of shots sort of moving around the top of the building from all of the angles. The sky was beautifully blue. It was freezing. The clouds were gorgeous. The colours were as vibrant as you see. There's no change to the photos. It was just a beautiful situation, and you can see how much snow in 1 or 2 shots there was. It was literally, you know, clomping through it, and I was making sure I was very carefully stepping here and there so I didn't, you know, fall over, slip over, because it just wasn't my norm. But it was a beautiful day. It was probably the only day I ever spent, and the building was in Alexanderplatz. The cute German railway bear. Yeah, no, I don't know what to say about this one. It's me again. So hopefully you enjoyed a little bit of a share on the photo side. It was just, I didn't spend a lot of time, because it was pandemic, seeing a lot of sites or going to a lot of places. A lot was closed. It was winter, it was pretty bleak. But it was still quite beautiful. I still think it's quite a beautiful city, and frankly, part of the reason why so many of the photos are actually empty of people is because it was a strange time to be in Berlin. It was quiet, it was empty, it was a time I'd probably never be able to experience unless I went back in time, and then it wouldn't look like it does now. So it was kind of an exceptional experience, and one that I'm sort of glad I had, but also I was like, yeah, I didn't take as many photos. But then I think I have a stack in Australia from previous trips. I remember doing like a bike trip in Berlin. I really hate bicycle seats, but anyway, and sort of seeing all the things you would. It is a pretty interesting city, and it's definitely worth a trip. I'm going to follow this video up with a video essay, so it'll have a bit more of a moving pictures going into the common setting of modern day. And it hopefully will just feel like there's a bit more to it. It's probably not going to necessarily add a lot of locations. There'll be some snow. I was a little fascinated by snow and such, so hopefully you'll enjoy that. But I often say to my friends TBC, which means to be continued.